This is my instant match review to the West Ham 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1 Drossfest at the London Stadium. Talk about two teams lacking confidence, lacking ideas, lacking ability, lacking desire at times, motivation. I mean, it says a lot for West Ham that they can't beat a team of Tottenham players of whom I think only 3 maximum will play on Thursday night against Bodo Glimt. Yeah, it was poor. I'm going to try and start with the only positive that I can think of, which is that Mikey Moore came on with 25 minutes to go tonight. And it's his first game for maybe 3 months. And I'm going to put him on my thumbnail and I'm going to put him in my title, because watching him get the ball a few times and drive at the opposition and win free kicks and show his touches was the only thing that I enjoyed from 95 minutes of absolute tat. And Mikey Moore, again, showed enough to me today for me to be excited about getting to watch him in the future. Other than that, it was just players kicking each other. Kilman kicking Richarlison, Paqueta kicking Kulusevski kicking anyone he could get near. But it was good to see Mikey Moore come on, and we've got a very exciting talent there. And we just, as long as we treat him right and protect him from the potential pitfalls of his own talent, then we've got a player on our hands there. But honestly, and you let me know in the comments if you think I'm being unfair. Other than that, nothing. I guess Kevin Danso had a decent game. I think Vicario was responsible for their goal, which was a goal that was slipped through in behind Jed Spence, and then Jared Bowen, from a very tight angle, just allowed to get to basically the 6-yard line where he ended up having his shot, and it went through Vicario's legs. I don't have a problem really in general with goals going through keepers' legs, because sometimes it happens. But at that point, the angle was so tight that he needed to do one of those kind of modern goalkeeper slide outs where your legs are stretched out, kind of akimbo on the ground, so nothing can go through your legs. But he didn't. And Bowen couldn't put it anywhere else from that position. So I'm going to have to give Vicario a bit of blame for that goal. Other than that, Basuma was okay. Again, showed a few moments of lacking concentration, but more minutes in his legs, which I think will help him on Thursday, because I think realistically, Basuma's going to have to play again on Thursday. Bergvall, as we know, out for the season. All reports coming, apparently, that Spurs are very worried about James Maddison and his knee. And realistically, if he's out, it'll be out for the rest of the season, because it's only 3 weeks now. And today, it doesn't bode well for Thursday or any of the games left in the rest of the season, because without Maddison, without anyone who comes deep to pick up the ball off Vicario or off the centre halves, who today were, of course, Davis and Danso, we're just going long all the time. Vicario, and listen, I can't be a hypocrite, because regularly I've said, I'd like to see it mixed up a little bit, but you can't go long all the time when you've got Odebear and Tell as your wide men. He was hitting it up to Odebear and Tell, and Kulusevski was nowhere around to get the scraps. So just some bizarre stuff. And I just said it in the watch long, it's almost like gallows humor, waiting to hear what Ange Postecoglou will say after that game, because he'll try and say, look, mate, the boys played so well. And it's like, no, they didn't, mate. It was so boring, honestly. It was so boring. And I know I've said that a lot, but in the comments during the watch along, someone said, you're so negative, Barnaby. And I didn't get excited when we scored. And the reason I didn't get excited when we scored was because I knew that we weren't going to win the game. We'd find a way not to win the game, and that's what we did. And in the end, actually, James Ward-Prowse had a free kick from just outside the box, last kick of the game pretty much, and it was only just wide, and that was the script almost written there. Thinking about the forward line, Odebear scored the goal for us. He was composed when given a chance, but yet again, I think we have a lot of players in our squad who are good finishers, who are composed, but we don't make chances for the forward line, really. We don't. And Odebear got one chance and he scored, but again, in the rest of the game, he was kind of not involved, very similar to a kind of Brennan Johnson performance out on the right there. Tell worked hard. He did some stuff nicely and some stuff badly. Richarlison put himself about. He was taken off after about 60, 65 minutes, I guess, because he will start the week on Thursday night as well, probably down the left. You've got to assume because Sonny's not even on the bench today, he won't be available on Thursday night. Pat Matassar had one shot that went just over the bar, and at least he had a shot. That was one of the most exciting moments of the game because he saw a bit of space in front of him, just outside the box, and he had a shot. And it was kind of tipped just over the bar, but Michael Oliver didn't give a corner to us because Michael Oliver threw out today. And look, maybe, you'll think I'm being biased, but I don't think so. But he made some bizarre decisions all the time. But anyway, who else? Jed Spence had a poor start to the game. First 40 minutes or so was poor. After that, I mean, he just looked like he didn't care, and maybe his head's gone a little bit because we were fairly talking about him potentially as Tottenham's player of the season at one point. And then for these big important games, Udogie and Porro have been brought back in, and they've both done really well in those Europa League games. And I think maybe Spencer's lost his head a little bit because he was just off it. He did improve after 40 minutes. He got one very important block in on a cross that would have definitely led to West Ham's second goal. So credit to him for that. And he kept on running. He kept on working outside Mikey Moore when he came on the left. But just not a great deal to talk about after that game. It was really poor. So I'll go with my ratings. Vicario, 6. He made one very good save, actually, back end of the game. Ward-Prowse came on and did as much in his little cameo as anyone for West Ham by basically taking a couple of free kicks. And his delivery is so good. And he had one wide free kick that he put in that corridor in between our back four and Vicario. And actually, Jared Bowen came in, got a little bit of a head on it. And Vicario was running one way across his line and had to kind of rotate the other way and get a left hand on it. And it was actually very impressive, that save. So I'm going to up it. I'll give him 6.5 because I think he was responsible for the goal, but he did make that save. So I'm going to go 6.5. Left back Spence, I'm going to say 6. Centre back Ben Davis, 6. Kevin Danso, 6.5. Do you know what? Danso was in the wars all game. Got a lot of kind of kicks in the chest and head-on-head challenges. So I'm going to up it. I'm going to give Danso a 7. I thought he looked good, and he tried to make things happen running forward with the ball at times as well. Right back. Who was playing right back? Archie Gray today, 6. One thing that I was impressed by Archie Gray about was he's better at defending the back post than Pedro Porro. Maybe even arguably than Jed Spence as well sometimes. But Archie Gray got his body in some good positions and got some headers on some crosses to the back post, which of course is one of my bugbears that we're so bad at defending those. So Archie Gray, I'll give a 6.5 for that. And then going into midfield, Bissouma, 6. Sarr, 6. Kulusevski, 6. And up front, Richarlison worked hard but lacking quality, 6. Odebear, I'll have to give 6.5 for his goal. And who am I missing? Tell, 6. So that says a lot, doesn't it? I've basically given them all 6s because I can't say that none of them tried hard, other than maybe arguably Spence in that first 40 minutes. But he made up for that. They all put a shift in, but there was just a severe lack of quality on the pitch. It was almost like the lack of quality on both sides. They brought each other down. It was just an absolute dirge fest. And I commented about it in the watch. I'll say again, Flav from the Fighting Cock. And if you don't listen to the Fighting Cock podcast, make sure you do. Brilliant Spurs podcast. But I saw that he tweeted during the game, is this the worst game of football I've ever seen? And you know what? It's probably up there as one of the worst games of football I've ever seen. And that's not unexpected with that big game on Thursday night. And like someone said in the comments earlier, we've been asking for Ange to, wrap the players in cotton wool before these big games. And he does so. And then we expect, we can't expect magic. And so no surprise that it was boring and that it was a dross fest, but you still have to sit through it. And, there's some very talented players on that pitch. But the reality is, if you don't have shape and familiarity with your teammates and patterns and kind of almost like the almost sometimes psychic-esque subconscious knowledge of where your teammates are going to be, then your talent doesn't shine through. And the reality of that is because they don't play in that first 11 regularly, they don't have that chemistry. And it was just a match full of bitty fouls. And, you got two managers there, Graham Potter and Ange Postecoglou, who want their teams to play good football. But because it was El Crapico and if the fight for 17th place, there's no confidence in either of those teams. And so no good football was even played. And to be honest, I'm ecstatic that it's over. And we didn't lose. So that's something. We haven't got many draws in this Premier League season. So there's a point picked up. I still think we'll end up finishing 17th. I think the only way we won't is if West Ham find a way to lose all their games remaining. But I think Tottenham have Crystal Palace. I think they'll lose. Unless Palace are already on the beach thinking about... Actually, that's a good point. It's Spurs, it's Palace at home. And also, they may not want to get injured, those players. So it'll either be they won't want to get injured, they'll drop off a few percentage points, or they'll all be trying to play their way into the cup final team, in which case they'll beat us. And then I think we've got Aston Villa, and I think we'll lose that as well. And I don't know. I think that's it, maybe fixtures-wise. I haven't looked at the league for so long. But anyway, more importantly, Thursday night, hopefully no more injuries today. Hopefully a bit of luck about hearing about Solanke and Maddison. But from all reports, it doesn't look good on Maddison. And I think even more than ever, Thursday night now looks like it's going to be a bit of a slugfest. But I'm hopeful that we've got enough. I think we will score a goal. So they would need then 3 goals to level us. And I'm hopeful that with Van de Ven and Romero and Udogie and Porro at centre-back and Bentancur in front of them, that we won't concede 3 goals, even on their difficult plastic pitch. A lot of the games that we've lost this season, albeit 19 of them in the league, have been by 1 goal. And losing by 1 goal on Thursday would be enough. So let's hope that it's that or better. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Do give this a like if you haven't already. Please do subscribe to the channel. And, of course, come on, you Spurs.